Good afternoon, everyone all around Australia. Good morning for those in the West. But welcome to COVID-19 Survival Panel presented by ESS BIZTOOLS and our associates. And today is session 3 of these recordings. I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. Welcome. Our guest presenters today are Andrew Geddes, Business Development Coach and the former Chairman of Green Cross Limited. How are you today, Andrew?
Well, thanks, Peter.
That's very good. And we also have Priscilla Bay-Smith, Management Accounting Services, trainer of bookkeepers and tax agents. How are you, Priscilla?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, so we're going to...
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We're going to move on. Well, first of all, if you have any questions, can you please type them into chat and send them through to us? We are recording the webinar and it will be available for all viewers, and we will send you the link probably on Tuesday. It's a public holiday in Queensland on Monday, so we'll send that to you on Tuesday, if that's okay. It's my pleasure now to present to you Andrew Geddes. Andrew is very well known to the accounting profession. He's been around for a few years and also has had a very interesting corporate career. 9 years as chair of a listed public company, which became a top 200 company. So Andrew is going to talk to you today about assisting clients to navigate COVID-19 and have strategies ready to relaunch the business as soon as the restrictions end. So we're going to switch over now, and Andrew will be talking through to around 12:25, 12:26, when he has another engagement to attend. So good afternoon, Andrew.
Hello, Peter. How are you? Hello, everyone.
Thank you.
Just need to my screen. So how do we get my PowerPoint up? Can you see my PowerPoint?
No, it's not there yet. No, just...
I've still got...
We had it before.
Yeah. There we
it's
go.
Coming up now. Yep. Okay, you're up, Andrew. You're away.
Good, thank you. Well, hello, everyone. Peter's asked me to share with you what are the progressive accounting firms doing to assist their clients in these current times, and what might they start thinking about in terms of implementing to assist clients move out of this current lock-up situation, as slowly but surely the various premiers are beginning to ease some of the restrictions. So I'm just going to share with you some of the work and learnings I've been doing with various firms around the country. The presentation and this the PowerPoints are structured around 3 things. Is firstly, get your own firm in order. We'll be very quick with that. And then the consequences on a number of different businesses. We'll look at some case studies. And then some of my firms are moving already, having helped their clients get on top of getting government assistance. They're now saying, okay, now let's start getting ready to trade out of this, prepare ourselves for the lockdown being slowly but surely unlocked, and away we go. So we'll work our way through those 3 segments. The various values we've used in working with these accounting firms and their clients underlies everything we do, and I think it's worthwhile having a look at that first. So both in the accounting firms and in their small business clients, we're saying to the managers, the managing director or the CEO or the owner, whatever title they may have, we've got to communicate with our team. Keep them informed of, as we learn, what the government might do, what forms we've got to fill in, the consequences for us, whether we have to reduce working times, days in the week, salaries and wages, other costs. We really have to lift our game in that regard to make sure that everyone in the various, be it in the accounting firm or the small business, is made aware. So from the most junior right through to the more experienced personnel. The second element in this is whatever we do, we've got to be far more sensitive with our clients and improve the customer experience, from them emailing us, telephoning us, having teleconferences with them, responding, making sure we let them know what we're going to do and by when, talking to them about fees, costs. It's a time when they're under great pressure, so we need to be better at what we do and be aware that it's a time to build on the relationship and to show them that we are professional and we do care. The third thing is, if we are less busy, let's try and simplify our processes and share these learnings and begin to develop new advisory capability. So we're starting to have weekly client advisory sessions in accounting firms where we ask, who have we interacted with this week and what did we do with them? And are there lessons for the other client advisors based on the sharing of that information? So I'll look at this in more detail with some case studies. So initially, getting our own firms in order. How have we been affected by the lockdown? It'll depend on your location and the industries in which your clients are operating. I've had some firms in rural Australia who have a lot of agricultural clients, food processing and transport being the majority of their client base, really have had minimal effect. They might have lost 5% of their client numbers because of closures in hospitality, entertainment and travel. But then they've found themselves busy assisting the other clients review whether they can get certain government funds, and hence they've been busier than ever, and they haven't really noticed a decline in their invoicing or, in the short term, their collections. However, we are reviewing that. We're looking at options. So what's our best guess for invoicing for the next 3 to 6 months? What if it dropped 10%? What are the consequences? What if it dropped 30%? What are the consequences? Because we're finding it hard to predict. We know there's work being done, it's being invoiced. Will it be able to be paid? That's what we're reviewing week by week. And I've had one firm where it lost 30% of its revenue due to having a lot of clients in hospitality, entertainment, travel type, because they're located in a tourist area, and they've had to reduce staff numbers, and some of their outsourcing teams have been reduced. So it's a time where we've got to apply our advisory capability and analysis to ourselves, and we're doing that on a weekly basis with the senior leadership group, reviewing and discussing our assessment of invoicing, cash collections, and what's happening with our clients. We've sorted out working from home, and we've enhanced the technology side of that, and that's running well. Some of our team are feeling remote, so we're having communication sessions, even shared drinks on a Friday, other daily stand-up via Zoom, workflow management sessions, and making sure that our people, if they feel they want to talk to someone, they can do just that. And the final element of getting our own house in order is job pricing and billing. Now, I've been asked by a few firms, should we discount right across the board? And in reflecting on that, I don't think we should. I believe it devalues what we're doing, and later on, when we start to try and lift our prices again, I think you're creating some problems. So our attitude here has been to say to all clients, if you're in financial difficulty and you cannot pay, please speak with us. We know the client's financials because we're connected. We're doing their accounting. We're connected through bank and cloud accounting systems. So we're prepared to say, all right, if you've closed down, you've got no money at all, and you want to try and get some government funds, we're happy to you try and fill the forms in, send them to us. We're happy to review them. We're happy to record the value of what we're doing and leave it in work in progress, if you want to use that term. Some people will be using time recording and work in progress to create bills. Others will be fixed fee estimates. So we're happy to talk to every client and go, look, we'll try and help you through this if we can. And if you can't pay, we'll hold off billing you and you'll get billed later. We'll try and make an estimate up front of what that's going to be. So we're trying to develop long-term client relationships. Again, as you'll see in the case study, well, let's have a look at that now. My first case study is a firm that I mentioned just before had a decline of over 30% in its revenue because quite a few of their hospitality clients shut their doors straight away. They put their staff off. They were younger people with newer businesses. They were living hand to mouth, and they had leased equipments and fit outs of cafes, restaurants, etc. They found it hard to adjust to an online version of their business model. Consequently, we were faced with a decline in cash available, and this firm did not have large reserves, so we retrenched our outsourced overseas accounting and bookkeeping teams. We said to our team in Australia, are any of you able to work voluntarily 4 days a week? And a number said yes. We went to the bank, the landlords, our various applications, suppliers, and of course the various government assistances, and utilised that. And then we said, righto, well, we've got 70% of our clients are still in business. Let's get focused on them. And let's make sure they know what they can do in order to access government funds. So there's been a strong emphasis, as you'll see in my next case study, of running educational webinars, inviting all clients to attend, getting on the front foot, and every client advisor contacting, telephone calling or Zoom calling, teleconference calling every client, and making sure they're aware of what help is available and that they're compiling the right forms in the right way. And again, in this firm, because we were so tight from a financial survival perspective ourselves, we're doing that weekly review of invoicing, cash collected, and what are the various actions, talking to clients. Again, if we've helped a client obtain JobKeeper funding and our invoice is $2,500, we're asking for the payment of that because they might be receiving 50 to 100 grand in cash flows, albeit other forms of money coming in. So don't not see the value of what you're doing. Then illustrating what some of the firms are doing, hopefully not, there's only a minimum number of firms that are in that plight that my first case study was in. I've been attending some webinars run by a group called Business Depot. Two accountants, John Knight and Rebecca Mihalik. They're in Brisbane and Sydney, respectively. John is experienced in business planning, etc., and Rebecca is a tax specialist. In my role as chairman of Bullbeck Proprietary Limited, which is a big engineering manufacturing group in Newcastle, we've been hit hard by the lockdown and the, I guess, postponement of big projects. We had a large project with Adelaide Airport. It's been put on hold forever because Adelaide Airport's got no revenue. And all of a sudden, if you lose a job that's several $100,000 in a big manufacturing engineering concern, and you multiply that by half a dozen of them, you're in a difficult position. So in order to make sure that we understood what help was available, how to fill in the forms, I attended a number of seminars run by this accounting group. What I found really good was they had question and answer sessions. So SME clients were coming in and asking, how do I fill in page 3, item 2? And I found that fantastic because it gave me an insight and an understanding of what we could do and couldn't do. It helped me then to have better conversations with my CFO. And it's an example of an accounting firm. They're running these weekly, sometimes more than that. They're very detailed and specific. There's an interaction with clients able to ask questions. And as such, I found that to be a great example of an initiative taken by an accounting firm to use the technology to educate clients and assist them. You can go to that website and have a look. I think the webinars have been recorded and are available, so it might inspire you to do something similar for your clients. The next case study, one of my accounting firms I work closely with, I'm their external chairman and business coach and morals officer. It's a combination of roles. They subscribe to tools offered by BStar, and BStar have developed an online automated risk assessment process. And if the way it works is you email to a selected group of business clients who would then click onto the link and compile a questionnaire about their perception of risk in their business. A detailed report is then generated that allows the accountant to then sit with the client and begin to plan for a business improvement process to help them come out of lockdown and begin to trade better. It's a time when leaders in SMEs have got to get together with their team, establish a senior leadership team and start to improve processes and get ready to trade out of this. So this accounting firm has had a good response from clients. It's an example of an automated online communication process to clients, and then they target the clients using the reports that have been generated to then review needs and get involved in helping clients. So I thought that was another example of, if you can't go and visit them because you're not allowed to get in your car and drive, although that's now opened up a bit in some states, you need to use an online version of communication analysis and planning. So it's a combination of email, a link to a specific tool, and then Zoom or other communication-based teleconference advisory methods. Once you've done that, you might be able to have discussions with clients about can you access the government guaranteed loans. For example, one of my rural clients had a farmer who said, let's get that loan because I've got feed in my paddock for the first time in 2 years and I can restock it. And that farmer believes he will get a 100% return on his $250,000 loan over the next 6 months from fattening animals and then selling them off and establishing some working capital to do it again. If it's not loans through the government guaranteed offering, SME loans, it could be other forms of finance. Or as Peter Towers would have taught you, maybe some of your clients should be thinking of raising some capital through Section 708 of the Corporations Act, or crowdsourced equity raising, or even as an early stage innovation company. Now, if you don't know about those things, you need to go to ESS BIZTOOLS and read about them, because Peter's been writing about them and educating us about them for the last 12 months at least, if not longer. If you start to look at helping clients with refinance, again, another example, we had a builder who said, my orders have backed off, and we said, why don't you access the government's $250 guaranteed loan? Why don't you build a spec house, keep your team so you don't have to put them off? And if your revenues drop by 30%, perhaps we can get the JobKeeper funds as well. And in 3 years' time, if you haven't sold that property, we could probably refinance it. So there's a builder who said, yes, I'd rather do that than see it's too hard to develop a skilled team to just let them go. So it was the initiative of the accountant having those types of conversations. The banks and others are saying we need a business plan to support that. and in my dealings with some of the banks, a summarized dot point intelligent business plan is enough, because they've said, we're used to your work, we know your clients, you've got a history of helping good clients get on top of these things, so they're not requiring 30-page technical documents. Have we got budgets to support the above? And Peter, you've been running sessions with another one of our associates on utilising on-cloud budgeting, cash flow, profit and loss and balance sheet to support business plans, to support capital or finance applications. And then should we be then having a monthly management meeting to review our financial performance? So my rural accountant is meeting monthly with his building client just for an hour, $250. Let's review the financials and let's see how we're going. Then out of that comes, we then have a meeting with the partners and the seniors in the firm that have client lists once a week for an hour, saying, which client have you visited? What have you helped them do? And that's inspiring us to reflect on what might we help other clients with. So someone will say, oh, I've got a client that I could help. We had a landscape gardener who said, I'm running out of work. Well, why don't you put your business card in letterboxes of people who've got water flowing out of their properties into the gutters in a rural town, because water costs money, and all of a sudden he's doing more work fixing domestic irrigation or garden watering systems than he was doing in help building gardens for builders, and at better margins. So that's the sort of thing that if it's discussed within the accounting firm, it might inspire you to say, I've got a client like that, I'll give them a ring. And then maybe we've got to think about the scaling up methodology, which involves thinking about the next 3 to 5 years and creating a senior leadership team and thinking about what are the 3 things we're going to do to get ready to come out of this, establishing a pattern of meetings and a budget, maybe getting the accountant involved and making sure those project groups are working on implementing the actions to improve the business. And I know that a number of my accountants are now involved in monthly meetings, running through and utilising that framework. In summary, you can't do this alone, improve your business, so create a senior management team. Accountants should be encouraging their better clients to do this. A group of leaders then can analyse and debate and document and communicate the plans to the whole company. If you're a small business, perhaps you just do it with one other and your accountant. In Green Cross, which was a listed 200 company, as Peter said in his introduction, we had a senior leadership team at the end involved, which had consisted of 12 people. And they developed every quarter, what are the 3 things we've got to do to improve the business, and project groups were established and they reported back to the monthly management operational meeting. Now, accountants can play that role with their clients. Encourage your client to involve people in their business, looking at what we need to do to improve the business and running a project group, listing actions, and you need to be the motivator and driver of that and help your client. The final case study was, let's get ready for this post-COVID-19 business development thrust that all of our business clients are going to need to do. So in one of my firms, we've developed a client contact plan. Every partner and or senior who's got a client list printed out their client lists, and we went, right, let's ring them up, let's send them a needs checklist. And if you need a copy of one of those, I'm sure Peter's got one somewhere in his documentation. If not, I have, and I can make it available to you, Pete. I've been using it for 40 plus years, so I'm sure people have seen it before.
I think I adopted mine on yours, Andrew.
I was hoping that you would have. So again, let's send a needs checklist to a client and tell them I'm going to phone you on Thursday at 3 p.m. And let's use Zoom so we can see one another. And we've been ringing clients and telling them how to, Zoom's free, put it on your laptop. This is how you get into it. Send them a link, click on it. Let's look at each other. so that you can look into each other's eyeballs and chat. Our clients have responded favourably to that. People who've never done it before are saying, this is fantastic. I should have been doing this long ago. I mean, as your accountant, you should be on top of their financials because you're doing cloud accounting and you've got bank links and you're doing quarterly BASs and things like that. So look at their financial performance, have a conversation with them around the needs checklist, and turn your mind into, you know, what are the opportunities? Could we borrow some money and stock up? You know, I had a publican say, the bar's shut, now's time to redo it. I've been thinking about doing it for years. We'll borrow one of those government SME loans of $250. So it's creating a where are the opportunities way of thinking and discussing that with your clients. I believe that's what we should be doing in this difficult time. Look, I know a lot of your clients their businesses might be gone, some of your clients. Let's concentrate on the ones who are left, the ones with opportunities, and go and help them. Again, that will help you remain positive. So what I've tried to do, Pete, for you is to say, here's an example of, you know, one of my accounting firms that had a decline of plus 30% in what they've had to do, practice what you preach. Then some case studies on what other firms are doing with their clients to help them through accessing government help where possible and filling in all those forms, and what they're doing marketing wise and using technology to deal with that. And then beginning to think about, let's develop some new skills, take some new initiatives. Let's start phoning clients. Let's internally have weekly discussions with our senior leadership team about this. And I hope there's some ideas there that might help some of our accountants help their small business clients, because goodness knows we all can do with all the help we can get at the moment.
Yes,
Over to you, Pete.
Thank you very much, Andrew. That's a very comprehensive overview, I think, of the challenges confronting accountants and also small businesses and medium-sized enterprises, the clients that most of us have. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Pete.
Going to, you're going to go to another webinar.
I've got another one, yes.
If we get any questions from the people watching or later on, we'll send them through to you. And
thank you.
Thank you very much for your time today on behalf of everyone that's watching. Thank you. I now want to introduce you to Priscilla B. Smith. Priscilla is from the Cloud9 group. She helps bookkeepers and accountants. And I'm now going to invite Priscilla to give us a 5-minute overview at this stage of the services that she provides. And then Priscilla will be coming back after I've gone through the update on what the government and the tax office seem to be doing relative to COVID-19. So how are you today, Priscilla?
Very well. Thanks for having me, Peter. I'm privileged to be here. And I just go briefly through, because it's a mystery about Cloud9 Group, what we can do. And because it's a complex, complex activities we have, we're just briefly gonna touch to show what we can do for bookkeepers, accountants, and other professionals. And I'll share my screen and let's see if we can get a full screen.
Your screen's up now, yeah. That's right.
Yeah, so as we all know, I am a tax agent, a senior accountant, and I am in the profession for more than 20 years. And I'm running a tax agent company called Cloud9 Associates. This tax agent company supports all other activities. The tax agent company will actually hold their hand and so support this training and mentorship programs. I am founder, mentor, training specialist at Cloud9 Accounting Hub. Cloud9 Accounting Hub took the Cloud9 Academy name lately, we are working toward an academy for bookkeepers and accountants, accounting professionals. You're going to find us. Cloud9 Group is not an entity by itself, but incorporates, as we said, first of all, the tax agent company. Second, the Cloud9 accounting hub, which now has more branches than that, but it has the academy. And I'll show you just briefly what. Our mission, we're going to come back to our mission, but the mentorship programs through the academy, we have 3 of those: the modern bookkeeper, the modern practice, and the emerging tax agent. You're going to find them on the Cloud9 Academy website, as we said. And on the top of it, we also have a Cloud9 resources page where we're launching our training programs and we announce associations, such as we are associated with BIZTOOLS. So we are many. So Cloud9 Group aims to, and we go back to our mission. I will be back with more details in our programs, Peter, because it is a lot in it. And we're going to also launch new training programs in the coming week. So we would like to make our assistant aware of what's going on. Our mission is to empower accounting professionals with tools and knowledge in order to achieve their goals. Our vision is innovation, automation, and the cloud. And our values is integrity, consistency, and responsibility. And all of these values we would like to project onto our trainees and whoever joins our mentorship program. So we are preparing them for the future to become the best of the best professionals out there. Thanks, Peter.
Okay, thanks, Priscilla, for that initial overview. Priscilla will be returning a little later in our presentation today. What I want to now give is an update of what's been happening. Some of you are probably aware of this. Some of you might be trying to avoid some of these things at present. I know it's rather hectic in accountants' offices all around Australia. The JobKeeper registration date's been extended. It was supposed to have been yesterday, but it's now been extended to 31 May. And the tax office seem to be saying that if payments for April wages, 2 lots of fortnights in April, have been made by the 8th of May, that you will be able to get reimbursement of those as long as you've registered by the 31st of May. The Prime Minister had a few words to say about banks a few days ago, and the banks have now introduced hotlines for the coronavirus SME guarantee loans. You've just heard Andrew Geddes referring on 2 or 3 occasions to these coronavirus SME guarantee loans, up to $250,000 over a 3-year period to repay, very low interest rates, no security required. They're ideal, and they're also good work ventures for accountants because every applicant's going to need a business plan, budget, and cash flow forecast. And they're for working capital purposes. I hadn't thought about building a spec home, but obviously for builders, that's working capital type investment. How many more of your clients have you got in trade type industries that might be able to access one of those loans to help them in this period to build an asset that they can then sell, a current asset? The bank hotlines are on the screen at present. You will be receiving a link to these recordings, and if we will be placing these hotline telephone numbers on our website in the Survival in Difficult Times Learn More area. So if you're having trouble for any of your clients getting through to the banks relative to the guaranteed loans, please use those telephone numbers. I noticed some comments the other day of people who obviously are not aware of the rules relating to the commercial tenancy codes. The business must qualify for JobKeeper, even if the business doesn't want to actually access the wage support, the $1,500 per fortnight for their employees that they had at the 1st of March. They've still got to go through that process if they want to use the commercial tenancy code that has been adopted by the National Cabinet, and now I gather virtually every state and territory government have introduced their version of that legislation through their own parliaments. But it is conditional that the applicants have qualified for the JobKeeper payment scheme to be able to use that code. The governments have also, well, the Treasurer has clarified the rules on special purpose entity. If you haven't seen this, the Treasurer, Josh Frydenberg, released this statement on the 24th of April, JobKeeper update. I would commend it to you to read. We will be placing it on the ESS BIZTOOLS website in survival in difficult times. So you can read that. There's been some debate with some of the legal advisors as to what it really means, but at this stage, the Treasurer has basically said the Tax Office is going to issue a ruling on this to sort out some misunderstandings or to clarify how the law will operate. And the other item that I did notice in this update from the Treasurer was that religious practitioners, who many of them are not considered to be employees of their churches or their religious organisations, they're going to be given a special dispensation that they can participate in the JobKeeper payments. I assume, of course, that their church or other organisation needs to be able to show that their income has dropped the 30% eligibility requirement. And the one in all in principle has also been emphasised by the Treasurer. Therefore, I believe there's probably been some confusion about this, but employers can't pick and choose their employees at the 1st of March who's going to participate in the JobKeeper program. Everyone has to be included if they're going to sign on with the Tax Office for that process. There's also been a change in the eligibility for students. You might recall that initially it talked about 16-year-olds. That's now been clarified by the Treasurer. It's a prospective adjustment. So if any of your clients have already paid out the $1,500 per fortnight to people who are aged 17 years or younger, they can still claim for those. But from now on, they will only be able to get the JobKeeper payment for those people who are 17 years and younger who are financially independent. I know a number of people were quite surprised that it was originally going to apply to 16-year-olds. I'm now going to reintroduce you to Priscilla B. Smith. Priscilla is going to talk to you about the JobKeeper program in more detail than my summary just then, and also will give you an update on the cash flow booster scheme. So we'll switch screens and bring Priscilla back in to talk to you. Hi, Priscilla.
Thanks, Peter. So we are back to here. Our time only permits a summary of all these incentives, but we are happy to talk to you about it. Us as professionals, we have a opportunity to actually help our clients with this. We have to be aware of those, and we are privileged to actually be in it and be able to help them. So I was invited for an exclusive interview with Peter. We normally do conduct many of these interviews for your benefit. We always hit topics which are the latest and updates to what's going on in the accounting world. Peter is our trusted advisory expert of our group, and we are very privileged to be associated with him. So he's got these two websites, and these are the tools and resources you need to actually be able to help your clients to the maximum. He's got an amazing work behind that. And I am the tax agent of my own company, Cloud9 Associates. Now, we launched this series amid the Advisory Experts Live. We do have one session on Wednesdays for SMEs that broadcasts for small business. And on Fridays, we will always be back at this hour to update accountants with the latest. So job keeper incentive, I try to explain it a bit, which small business is eligible. We talked about decline in turnover. They have to show a decline in turnover 30% or more due to COVID-19 crisis. There's tests in place. This is the basic test. And there's also specific tests for specific situations. The specific tests can be a bit complicated, but it is our duty of care to go and actually make ourselves concerned with a specific test for each case we're gonna come across. Basic tests, even these, they can be done in different ways. Because of controversy, cash basis or accrual basis, how do we do this? Please get concerned and do your research deeply on these tests, because this is the basic test which actually gives our client the job keeper incentive relief. For employees, how to apply and for further comply. We have to actually teach our clients how to apply and how to comply further. They are not quite aware. We will have to direct them in the right direction. We have to get concerned first how to apply. There's different ways to apply. Clients can apply themselves, which can be a bit, you know, they're going to hit a bit of walls with that, but doesn't matter. We can teach them how to. But the easiest way is for our clients to actually apply on their behalf through our tax agent portal. And that is going to be only a few minutes exercise. We can make their life very easy by stepping in and helping them. We have to teach them also how to nominate their employees. As Peter said, all-in employees rule apply. We can't cherry pick. We have to teach them that they can't cherry pick the employees. They have to, in the moment they enter the scheme, the job keeper scheme, they will have to actually engage all the employees, all the eligible employees. Now, how do we know who are the eligible employees? First of all, ATO is prompting us to actually have all our clients on single touch payroll system. If they are not on the single touch payroll system, we have to encourage them to actually register with single touch payroll. If they don't want a full system, full accounting system, it's fine. There is lots of low cost and no cost single touch payroll systems out there, which we can help them to actually register with single touch payroll first. If they don't, it is still possible to nominate the employees, but it has to be done manually. Once they have a system in place, everything becomes automated, and it's going to be easier for them, first of all, to enroll, and second of all, to comply, because it's going to be a monthly reporting system on this scheme. We will have to step in and monitor their employees and their activities and report to the ATO through a form, which is going to be the declaration form. It's going to be a monthly declaration form, which comes up on the 4th of May. We are promised that those, and then keep maintaining the JobKeeper scheme. For our clients, we have to lodge that monthly declaration. So how the clients, they have to pay employees. Now, even the deadlines extended for us to enroll them. The clients, they have to pay their employees for the first 2 quarters by 8th of May. Peter Towers said that 8th of May is the deadline, and employers are required to pay the employees first, and then they will get reimbursed by the government for the JobKeeper incentive. As Peter said, it is $1,500 per employee per fortnight, and we concluded a second fortnight by now. So please get concerned, and if you are really confused, we worked out I said how to work out the steps and get it right. I already worked out the steps, and we did get it right in several occasions with our clients. You can reach out and get concerned of what's the steps, because if you don't get right the steps, the whole advice to your client is going to hit the walls. There's a certain sequence, what to do first, second, third, how. There is specific steps. I am happy to talk to accountants who they want to reach out to me, and I can teach you the steps in 5 minutes instead of taking you 2 weeks to work it out. But you can work it out, and we are professionals, and we have the duty of care to work it out and give the best advice to our clients. So let's work it out first, and then get them on the right direction. Now, we talked about employers who employ employees. Those employees are eligible, and then lately it was made available for sole traders and other entities who have no employees. Let's see how they're gonna actually access a JobKeeper incentive. So how to apply and how to further comply with the rules. Sole traders and entities, we talked about sole traders and entities, they have to nominate an eligible business participant. Who is that? Well, we give you the notions. Please do your own research, but in general terms, these entities who they don't employ people, they have a sole director, or sole trader is obvious, but trust, they have beneficiaries and stuff like that. They can only nominate one person to receive the JobKeeper incentive. First of all, don't forget the first criteria is it has to be a 30% decline in the turnover because of the coronavirus. Second, the entity has to nominate an eligible business participant. And in this case, when we say in previous cases, for employers, the incentive ends up in the employee's hands at the end of the day. On this case, the incentive ends up in the entity's bank account, and the entity then can decide what to do with it. But only one business participant can be nominated under these entities. And don't forget, these are entities who they don't employ people. So director who pays themselves dividends or just director's fees or whatever consulting fees, they can nominate themselves on that. So we are expecting a lot of questions about this. Our time doesn't permit to actually really going deep into it, but I also want to talk to you about the second incentive, which is very important these days, and it's very important for us to give the best advice to our clients. Our clients are, at the moment, they are confused, and they are confusing these two incentives by themselves. So they started to mix it up and stuff like that, and it's our job to actually explain it to them, what exactly is going on and who is eligible for the cash flow boost incentive. Again, we're talking about businesses who employ people, and this incentive is designed to actually give a cash relief to businesses who they pay PAYG withholding. And when is it triggered? This cash boost incentive, I've seen it in action. It is triggered when we launched the BES for the first quarter for the clients, and only the ones who paid PAYG withholding, only the BES return who includes W1 and W2 in the report, only those, they will get this incentive. How much they are, we don't have time to actually go into it because it is extensive prospectus about it, but it is available. Us as a accounting professional, we should be already aware of how to research and search and research those things. But please go in and get concerned, because there is an extensive material to learn about it. If you want to give the best advice, we have to be aware first. And another advice that our clients they need, because they're always asking these questions, are the payments cash flow boost payments, do they have tax consequences? What we have to say, yes, they don't have tax consequences. They don't have to be repaid. They are not a loan. There is no GST on it, and you don't actually have to worry about. There is not an income to the business. And again, there's extensive material on the ATO website where we can read about it, but I wanted to make you aware what kind of questions we can expect from clients, and we do have to have the answers. So let's get the best of the best of this for them. We are the ones who they expect a lot from, and it is our time to actually show our expertise, show that we care, and it's our time to shine. And how we can help? Again, amazing resources from Peter. Again, amazing resources from myself. I've done all the research. I've done everything. I am ready to even help accountants who they want to reach out to me and actually teach them the steps and how to get it right, share with them my expertise. Let's have a brainstorm. You can book yourself for a brainstorm session with me, or just go and Peter is going to tell us in a few words his tools, where you know what he's got for this kind of advice accountants need today. Again, his tools are amazing, the best in Australia. I've never seen better, and they can really help you, I can tell you. So Peter has two websites, one for accountants resources and one for small business. You can also direct your clients to the small business website, where they can also help themselves to tools and resources, all kinds of updates on the latest legislation. I said here, you can also get an instant discount if you apply those codes under in those websites, if you really want to help yourselves to resources. So thanks, Peter, and we'll be back with more details in the next weeks.
Okay, thank you very much, Priscilla. I just want to, we don't seem to have any questions, but if you think of some questions later on that you would like to ask Priscilla or Andrew Geddes, and a lot of you are going to be watching this as a recording later on, we know that. It's very difficult to get people to all congregate at webinars at midday on a Friday. And we know there are a lot of offerings of webinars at present, and that's great because this education process is very important for all of us and for our clients, your clients all over Australia. I just want to talk to you though now in these final couple of minutes about next Friday, the 8th of May. Maybe we'll know a bit more about what the governments are deciding, although I think the next National Cabinet meeting's the week after. But on Friday, the 8th of May at 12 noon, AEST, we have something slightly different. We have one of our affiliates is basically a business operator. He's the ambassador for Territory Proud, which is a Northern Territory business organisation, about 400 members. And the gentleman is Jeff Goodrich. I've been working with Jeff for the last 15 years in various ways. He is an expert in energy efficiencies and is involved in a couple of companies who are developing alternative energy sourcing. And Jeff's primarily going to be alerting you to talk to your clients about cost reduction. And one of the biggest costs that most of our clients have got relates to energy. So I think you will find Jeff's presentation very interesting because it's part of getting the clients ready to get back out into the business world along the lines of what Andrew Geddes was talking to us today about. The other presenter is a lawyer, a chap that I've known for 5 or 6 years, Matthew Karakalakis, who's a partner in AMK Law, which operates in Adelaide and Melbourne. Matthew has in fact written an article for us, which is part of his theme for next week, business contracts and force majeure. We're going to send to the people who registered for this webinar a copy of this article because it has got great applicability to your clients in the current position that some of them are probably in. And we'll also be placing this article on our website, ESS BIZTOOLS, within the Survival in Difficult Times Learn More, where we are putting a few articles that we're starting to accumulate so that you can click onto that. That's a free article. It will also be available for small businesses within ESS Small Business. So Matthew Karakalakis from AMK Law is going to give us a legal perspective on what's happening in all this, especially now as we're starting to come out of some of the initial problems and are going to now go back into startup type mode. and I'll be here again to host that session. To register, please go to www.essbiztools.com.au and click onto webinars, and we will be happy to talk to you next week. For more information, please go to our website, essbiztools.com.au, Survival in Difficult Times, learn more. We offer 24 separate product packages within ESS BizTools, and Survival in Difficult Times is one of them. Survival in Difficult Times is incorporating the climatic condition problems that Australia had. Yes, remember them? It was only a few weeks ago, really, wasn't it? Where we had droughts, bushfires, and floods and cyclones in northwest Western Australia. So, but we've now incorporated within that particular product package COVID-19 coronavirus. So you can send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au. This virus will end. In fact, we're starting to see some good signs that hopefully the end is coming, and hopefully we can prevent a stage 2 revisit from this virus. Opportunities will emerge. Andrew Geddes has given you a great insight to some of the opportunities that accounting firms that he is involved with are already embarking on. Obviously, we don't know what your firm's doing, but if you want to talk to Andrew, please give him a ring, and his phone number will be shown on our website. Priscilla is also taking you through the issues relating to making sure your clients are accessing the grants that are available. I was talking to my son yesterday, who's an accountant, and he said to me, "Dad, you got to remember, these grants are there for people to get. The government wants the money taken. It's been budgeted for, the $130 billion. They want it. They want people to put it to work. They want to get people to survive in business as long as they can, and to keep employees in teams intact. If you cannot work as such, it's a great time to be reviewing your strategies and your team training for next year, so that at the end of this crisis, you as accountants, business advisors, and bookkeepers will have bigger and stronger clients within your organization. So stay safe. Thank you for being with us today, or for watching this webinar at a time that is convenient to you. Someone said to me recently, that's 3 a.m. in the morning. Well, good luck to you. Just don't ring me with any questions at that time, please. I am trying to get back to sleep myself. But good luck, and thank you for participating with us. Obviously, stay safe and have a great day. Priscilla, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Peter.
So we both joined, and together with Andrew Geddes, who had another commitment at 12:30. That's why he had to leave early and promptly. But thank you for being with us, and good luck. And if you have any problems or questions, please don't hesitate to contact us.
And we'll be back.
And we'll be back next Friday. And don't forget, if any of your clients are interested, on Wednesdays at 12:30, we have a series for small businesses and medium-sized enterprises. And next Wednesday, the keynote presenter is Paul Barnaby from Plan Guru. Paul's a prospective accountancy practitioner, where he's looking at the future in budgets, cash flows, and predictive balance sheets. And Paul is going to work through a case study, and that will take him about 40 minutes. And at the end of that, I'm just going to do an overview of some of the suggestions that have come out of Andrew Geddes's presentation today on what businesses should be doing to get themselves organized. So we look forward to talking to you. Have a great day. Have a good weekend. Goodbye.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you, Priscilla. And I've just got to